HIQA. Taoiseach, I attended the AMO protest here earlier today, and that nurses feel they must protest at the Dáil, I think says everything about the state of our health services. And last week I wrote to HIQA expressing concern at the conditions in Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital in Drogheda, and I requested that the authority conduct an assessment. And today, Taoiseach, I received a reply which is truly shocking. In summary, it says that the previous HIQA recommendations, and it's all here, Taoiseach, if you haven't sight of this, if previous HIQA recommendations had been implemented, current risks within hospital emergency departments would be significantly reduced. Now, you will recall that the 2012 TALA report made 17 recommendations on the safe care of patients. These recommendations have not been implemented. There were two follow-up reports, one in June 2014 into overcrowding at the emergency department of University Hospital Limerick, and another in December into emergency care services. And HIQA also met representatives of the Department of Health and the HSE to express concerns about the failure to implement the TALA report, and also to express concerns about patient safety. So there's no question about whether patients are safe or not safe. They are not safe. So, Taoiseach, do you agree that the HSE is obliged to take prompt action to implement recommendations made by regulatory bodies such as HIQA? Do you also agree that this is the explicit responsibility of the Department of Health and the Minister for Health? And finally, Taoiseach, will you explain to the Dáil why the HSE, the Department of Health and the Minister have failed to implement these recommendations?
Sometimes I reflect on whether you should listen to Deputy Adams or watch what your party actually does. You come in here on a very regular basis and you choose yourself not to avail of the excellent quality of our health service here in Ireland, but that's a matter for yourself. I'd remind you that there are 120 patients on trolleys in Northern Ireland today. 40 have been on those trolleys for 48 hours or more. I know that you have an influence on this in Northern Ireland, and perhaps you might apply yourself to that as well. The situation is, Deputy Adams, that the hospital and the HSE management are focusing on addressing the issues that are concerned in accident and emergency departments, where patients on trolleys before the nurses would commence their work to rule in any of the hospital concerned. That's been going on for a while now. Beaumont was the first hospital to ballot on a work to rule, and this would encompass clerical and administrative duties, and is expected to commence on the 27th of January. Management at Beaumont met with the INMO at the LRC yesterday. I understand that the parties agreed to revert to local discussions to consider a number of issues that were raised during the course of yesterday's discussions and process, and they agreed to go back to the LRC next Thursday, 20th of January. So management are available in all of the hospitals where INMO are carrying out ballots in respect of a work to rule. I'm talking about you and your question.
I'm asking you about the HIQA report.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Deputy, please.
As the House is aware, Deputy Adams, the Emergency Department Task Force met today. That's the second meeting of the group. And in the light of the recent pressures that are here in emergency departments, they want to access and assess all suitable non-acute accommodation to the maximum extent possible. You'll have your opportunity to expand on the document you have in private members' business this evening, and you'll get a comprehensive reply from the Minister in that respect. I'm satisfied that it's open to the. It should be noted, indeed, and that the HSE has the capacity to recruit where it's necessary to deliver frontline services. In many of these cases, the problem doesn't lie with the availability of frontline service numbers. You want to shake hands with me when you're at it?
Sorry, that's not. Please, Deputy Adams, please.
Taoiseach.
Sorry, please. Sorry, please.
When, Taoiseach, will you learn that indulging in personal attacks upon me or bringing the North into a question about this state, when indeed your latest visit there was an attempt by you to bring austerity into that part of the island? And I ask you, Taoiseach, a very straightforward question.
Please.
And the question quoted the HIQA letter, which I have just given to you, which says that there has not been the implementation of the recommendations made by it, and goes on to say, and this is crucial, Taoiseach, that if these recommendations had been implemented, current risks within hospital departments across the state would be significantly reduced. That's straightforward. Don't engage in distractions and perambulations and verbal gymnastics. It's very straightforward. It says it clearly. Now, my question to you was, do you accept and would you acknowledge
would you stay quiet,
and
please?
Explain to the Dáil? Let's not wait to private members' time. This is leaders' questions time. I have asked you a question: why the HSE, the Department of Health and the Minister have failed to implement these recommendations, which HIQA have said, not me, HIQA have said have not been implemented.
Thank you. Taoiseach.
Well, first of all, Deputy Adams, I don't consider that I engaged in a personal attack upon you. It's your own choice as to what you want to do, and you did that. Yes. Secondly, I think it's only right and proper that as you continuously refer to the excellence of the services in Northern Ireland, in which you claim full responsibility, I think it's right that the truth be known in respect of the numbers on trolleys today and the numbers who have been on trolley for over 40 or 48 hours. And I also take you to task in respect of your outrageous behaviour in respect of the discussions and the negotiations being conducted by Minister Flanagan and Minister Sherlock in Northern Ireland. Your Deputy First Leader of the Executive was quite prepared to make much more solid progress than yourself, and I'm very glad in the interest of everybody.
Thank you.
And particularly the citizens of Northern Ireland, that the negotiations were concluded. Now you march across the floor today with a letter from HIQA, a 2.5-page letter, and I thank you for that. I'll study this letter very carefully. I take the point that you make. The writer of the letter, the Chief Executive, says he wants to assure you, and therefore everybody else through this medium, that the authority will continue to maintain a watching brief on the issues and impress upon those charged with the delivery of healthcare services the importance of implementing them. So the point is, Deputy Adams, by private members this evening, we'll have a more comprehensive response to you in respect of the questions raised by the Chief Executive, because I haven't had time to actually read the detail of his letter.
Is there a responsibility for the Taoiseach to be kept to at least the questions?
Sorry, I have no control. I don't have any control of the content of a reply that's given by you or anybody else. So please accept the fact that I endeavour, as far as is humanly possible, to stick to the issues.
Yes. But would you advise the Taoiseach?
Well, the Taoiseach has finally said he will address the issue contained in the letter.
But not the leaders.
I accept that, but I can't do anything about it. It's only a minute for a supplementary and a minute for reply.
I know, but he knows he has two health ministers.
All right.
Beside him. He knows the issue is coming up. Three health ministers beside him.
Deputy Roop Coppinger.
Thank you, Karen Corn.
I wish you well in your new role as leader of the technical.
Taoiseach.